Oh, so I want to talk to you all today about clarity and vision and commitment and how to hang on to it. And that's practice. So this is my story of that. um, I had a weird week. Things that I've been kind of really longing for clarity again. I just haven't really had a good handle on it. And I find that sometimes the vision that we hold for ourselves and our lives and where we're going and what we're going to do with it all, sometimes it slips away. It's just, it gets muddled. At least it does for me. I mean, I find I get distracted by so many things, and there's so many things that capture my attention, and so many decisions to be made, and so many things to do, and they don't always seem like they're about the vision. So how do I know that what I'm doing is about the vision? Sometimes I have to realize that you gotta step back and see what the heck's going on. Why is this noise happening in your head and in your life? Where did it fall apart? Or where does it need to be kind of cinched back up again? Numerous places sometimes, like after a year and how many months of a pandemic, a lot of things shifted, still are. And we have a long way to go before we really kind of measure all this and make some sense of it. But I just really needed to stop and sit back and see just what am I doing in the field of my life. And I bring up the field because Dan put that ridiculous photo of me at the ranch holding all the garlic. He thinks it's, of course, he loves me, so he thinks it's a beautiful photo. I think it's like my hair looks really bad. Which at the ranch, my hair always looked bad as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, we did get to have that experience of having a crop, and we didn't make a penny. We didn't make a dime on that thing, but we sold out every year. It was mucho popular, and it was really gorgeous. Heads almost as big as my head, and really, really tasty stuff. And so people came back, and it was really fun to spend time with people when they came all the way to the house, all the way to the ranch, drove down the 1/3 of a mile road from our gravel road from the actual highway to our house, and then hung around and we talked about stuff, what you do in the country. You think you have time. You really don't. You're really busy, but pretend you have time every now and then. But anyway, it was fun. And I've worked in so many different things. My vision was to create, to be an artist, to create beauty and to inspire people. Just something really small. It's it's a bitch to pull off. I want to tell you, nobody cares. The world changed so much in my lifetime and our lifetimes. It used to be a lot cheaper to live. One of the many jobs that I had in my life to support myself as an artist was running a company called Pelican Distributing. And we were based in, it was a small company. My husband at the time and I were living in Key West, Florida. And, we just wanted, it wasn't like it was going to be a career. We just wanted something to support our day-to-day life so that we could do what really mattered to us. And what really mattered to me then in my 20s was to go to school and to learn how to be an artist. And to have fun. It was a beautiful place to live. The water was warm. The ocean was warm. It was like a bathtub. And this incredible blue. And, we'd go to sunset every evening, and sometimes we'd stay up all night, or we'd get up really early in the morning just to view the sunrise, because here we were at the end of the continent, 90 miles, from Cuba. It was fantastic, because you had you had the sunrise on one side and then sunset on the other, and we tried to really enjoy it all. And my mode of transportation was a bike. I mean, what do you want? That was great stuff. The business actually had us driving up to Miami in this. We had the step van, like the one with the door, that you kind of slide the door back and you step in and you go up. I know it's hilarious to think of me in this job, but it was such a blast. We would drive up the coast highway, which was 90, maybe it was 100 miles, I don't know, to Miami. And we would take orders from all the cool stores, that sell the cool tourist stuff on the road. And we'd take orders to bring them stuff from Miami, and then we'd go up to Miami and buy everything from one vendor that, I don't know how Lorenzo knew this guy, but Cubans all seem to know each other. And so we'd buy from Nestor, we'd then come back down and sell the stuff, and then, we'd have our lives. I'd go back to school, I'd, paint, and to be 20 again, geez, I mean, it was so easy. Money was easy, everything was cheap. You didn't have to sit around and worry, oh my God, what am I going to do? You just go out and do something, and you'd have enough money to make it. I got to make that trip myself a few times. Lorenzo was doing, I don't know, he was out fixing somebody's boat, or I don't know, but the trip was up to me a few times, and which was kind of fun. Because, you're driving along this highway that's going over the ocean. It's all connecting those beautiful keys and that beautiful water and the sky and the clouds. I mean, if you ever wanted to really understand a cloud, go to South Florida. I mean, it's stunning. I remember one time I was coming back from Miami and I saw manta rays, like 2 of them, rising up out of the water and literally flying over the water. And it was, I didn't even really know that they did that. I mean, it was like seeing a miracle happening in front of me. And of course I painted it. I made this painting that I'll never forget, but I have to only remember it because I left it behind when I moved away with my sister. And there was this huge flood, and and the painting of the night blooming cereus cactus that I did, they all just got ruined. It was really, my sister was very sad, and I already moved on, so I think it was one of my first lessons in how to let go and not be attached to stuff. I learned a lot, but that really kicked me off as a person that liked to run a business myself. Because I could, and of course I've gone to school. I had 15 years as a PR person. I would say probably 12 of those working for 2 agencies and 1 working for a company, a corporation, and then I just worked for myself. And it taught me stuff I never would have run into on my own. And, and then I really enjoy that. I find that that's what really helps. So yeah, I've got this vision, and sometimes I get dragged down by, I don't know, what is it? What goes on? There's just so much going on. I'd like to read you something that I read this morning that says it more perfectly than I can. The evolution of our life is a natural process. Creating a vision for our life is a powerful expression of the soul. And then the soul takes over the path and the direction that one needs to take in order to see the vision become a reality that is greater than anything we could have possibly imagined. Now, that sounds like a fairy tale to some of us, but but then I take that back, because we've all lived long enough to see our vision come true. We've had job after job, and then we found the job that just really fit us like a glove. And but then, for me, I always wanted more. I always wanted to be able to create. And then one day I just decided, well, I'm sick and tired of sitting around this dusty studio with a bunch of neurotic people like me. I want to get out of here. I'm interested in what's outside. I want to work with that. So I went back to school and learned everything I could about plants, and everything I could about how to take care of them, and how to design, what a design looks like, what a site plan looks like, and how you do it. And I decided to create with my hands, and it happened. So finally I was successful at something, I was successful at my business, at my vision. But just recently I kind of lost a thread, and so I decided to just really go after it, really go in strong. I even got to the point where I was in koan study. I couldn't express the koan. I tried 4 different times, and I was like, okay, this shit has hit the fan. Not that we haven't all spent months looking at a koan and trying to express it, but it's just the indicator that you need to just really stop and listen. What's going on? Figure it out. So anyway, my practices are really important to me. My Zen practice, my energy healing practice, and creating, and they all create this space for me to look at what it is that's really not right. How was it that I can't say that? How is it I can't feel that way? What's keeping me from doing that? And that is the piece where I stop and go back and review everything, and not in a necessarily neurotic or, anxiety driven space, but in okay, how do I make amends? How do I bring myself back to a state of perfect reciprocity? In the shamanic world, there's, at least in Peru, there's this term called Aini, which is about being in perfect harmony and being in a state of being able to reciprocate with your world and to bring back. And so that you're in that constant flow, out, back. And I was missing that. I don't know why. But anyway, I got it back. And I want to encourage you guys to remember that your practice, whatever it is, maybe it's an amalgam, like I have an amalgam, Ken has an amalgam, but there's one place where it really has form. Serious form, and that's Zen. It has this space where you go in and it's like, okay, you're gonna shut up. You're gonna light the candle. You're gonna light the waiting sticks, and you're gonna do it because you're doing it for others. You're here to serve other people and their sanity. I can't think of a better job. This is the job I want to keep. And there are days where, I wish I could sleep a little later, but frankly, most of the time I wake up at 5 or 4:30. I'm so used to it. It doesn't really mean that much to me. And I've already made the decision. So why would I mess around thinking about it? It's already there. And you just do it, and it's just like everything else that I have to do. I have to be on the job site many times between 7 and 7:30. You can't get up at 6:30 for that. You gotta get up and make sure you've got everything done for the day. You got to start the day off right. So discipline it's not really discipline. It's just making the dream come true, making that vision come into a space where whether you're on it or you're not. And that matters to me. You know, I don't know how many more years I'm going to live, but I'm still in a space where I can make stuff happen. So that's important to me. And none of us know how long we're going to live. None of us knows how long we're going to be healthy. So let's make the most of it. You know, I mean, I'm not here just to be a cheerleader. I'm really good at being a cheerleader. But I also want to say, these are the things that I know. I committed. I'm going to do it. Okay? I don't know. Did I say anything that I wrote? I wrote this piece 6 times. But really, at the end of the day, look at what's underneath the stuff. When this happens to you, that you feel like you've lost your clarity, well, look at what's on that stack. You know, if what you're responding to is traumas or wounds, old wounds, get out of there really quick, because, and I'm not saying we shouldn't manage this stuff, but make sure that you're not going into story. Because when we're reacting to the wounds that have kept us from thinking we're good enough, or that we don't deserve blah, 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 or that I just can't do this. You know, that's a wound talking. And you got to jump out of that. You got to, you know, resolve that wound and realize it's way behind you. And love yourself into that next space of your being, so that you can be free and wake up in the morning free. Okay? That's what I got. It's early, and I want to hear from you all. And Mel's going to join me on the screen.
I'm rarely the first to talk, but thank you for sharing. And I don't know if you're comfortable sharing how you got the mojo back in any kind of, because you said you kind of fell off the path and then you found it again. And I'm just curious to the degree that you're comfortable sharing, like.
I asked for help.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a shamanic teacher that I've been working with, learning. I think I might have mentioned this the last time I spoke with you all, but I'm learning in greater detail the sort of Andean mystery of energy healing, and she's kind of taken it to the next level for a lot of us by working with a woman named. His last name was Parisi. I can't remember her first name right now. I haven't met her in person. But anyway, I sent her a text. I said, "Look, I need help. I need some clarity. I need to dump some stuff, and I need your help getting to the other side. I don't know where the other side is right now." Mm-hmm. And she helped me a lot. I do the work. It's really up to me to do the work. No, but there's no magic wand. You know, the job is for me to take responsibility. I'm completely culpable from the space I'm in for any lack of Aini, so for any irregularities in my life. It's my job. I'm not a victim, and I'm here to make it work.
I remember I would go to interview with Yoshin at 5:30 in the morning in Santa Monica, and I'd complain about something, and he'd just look at me and go, "So what are you going to do about it?" Like, he had no the complaint, right? Like, he was like, "Next, like, so what are you going to do about it?" You know, and it was just like, "Oh, right, get out of here." Like, you know, so thank you. That makes a lot of sense.
You can't beat, you're welcome, and thank you for your question. You can't beat that kind of training. You just can't.
Right? Not interested. Yeah, not interested in the complaint.
Amazing.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Oh, I'll add something.
Good.
I love the topic of clarity, and I loved your stories that you wove into the talk.
Thank you.
It reminded me that it reminded me how important my practice is to not only maintain clarity, but but see when I'm not in sync.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that that's one thing that has always drawn me to sitting, because you don't realize that you're off the path until you slow down. And it's so, and in this, I mean, we were just talking about this earlier this morning, that the pace of life
Oh.
is so fast now that I feel like more than ever, like we humans need to just take a minute to be still.
Yeah.
You know, in order to just keep any sort of vision of what's going on, any sort of larger vision of what's happening in our lives. Otherwise, it's just one thing after the other after the other. So your talk just reminded me how much really, I mean, just the practice of sitting allows us to have that view into like where are we headed, what direction are we actually going. And I'm grateful for that part of the practice that just comes when you sit.
It's a gift. It really is. It's the best gift I've ever had. Thank you.
Thank you for your talk.
Hey, Melanie.
Lori, I just love you so much.
Thank
I just
you.
love you so much. My heart is just so full.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just really feel you. I really feel your experience, and thank you for reflecting in that way. I came back in the fold with you guys because I was in such a horrifically dark place. Being in my house alone when I so need, is it called I need?
Yes.
I so need, I need. I mean, there's just yesterday I went to my first yoga class in a studio. And I just being in the room with other beings, you know, in a sacred space, it's just like the opening, like all over, just so much inspiration. It's like I'm in the conversation again.
Yes.
This year of being alone, I really have had to sit with the kind of depression that tells you you need to leave. Like, I'm done being here. I'm done. Why bother?
Yep.
I mean, it was like really, really intense communication. Like, this is horrible. This thing that we have to do here on Earth.
Yeah.
So coming back to the Zen Center, you guys, has just been I am in the net again, and I really appreciate being in the net. Just that first week of being on Zoom calls with you guys, I just like, oh my God, I feel like someone has my back, you know? And that's so important in this life. And I just want more of it. So that's, to me, the clarity in this piece right now is that I need you guys and I need people.
That's one thing I wanted to say in all this too, but that's why I love the Q&A, because it reminds me of all the pieces that I wanted to focus on. I am so grateful for each one of you and your souls and your everything that you are, and it just means so much to me. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, that was a great talk.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really got, I feel like I got to know you better, and your Key West experience, etc.
Oh man, so great.
Yeah, and I really appreciate, Mel, what you just shared. I didn't realize you were in such a sticky spot. So that's great that you're unstuck. Yeah, the notion about what I really took away was like, okay, you committed, you're just gonna do it, and that's it, because you said you were gonna do it. And I know for me, there's like even today, I have a bunch of music stuff that I gotta get done.
Oh.
But and there's part of me that's like, I don't want to do it, but why?
I know.
I mean, I know that I'll get it done, but it's always like that actually stepping into it, like the sitting, the actually doing of it, that the courage to just take that step. And I definitely agree that this practice is a hugely grounding influence, and this community, for sure. So I really appreciate everything you shared, and I appreciate your path and you really being an artist. I definitely can relate to all of that.
Oh man.
Yeah. My friend was asking me last night. He's like, "Well, where are all the jobs that you've had in LA?" I was like, "Yeah, I have to go through all the fucking bullshit that I've done." Sorry, but
That's okay.
thanks for asking. Sure. But anyway, I went through that whole thing, and I was like, okay, well, now here I am. And that's what counts, is that I'm
Yeah.
on my path and on the journey and doing what, feeling like I'm really on course with what my vision is. And I really appreciated that piece about, creating a vision and then allowing your soul to just fulfill that. It's like you're creating like a river or like a ravine or whatever, and then the soul fills it with.
Now that is magical. I have to say that is a magical thing that we have access to anytime.
Yeah.
I don't care what age you are or what your situation is. It always works.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really helpful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sharma, are you?
And Marsh.
And Marsh. Oh, please.
Oh, Marsh, you're still on mute.
Still unmuted. You need to mute.
Okay, there we are.
Yay.
Yeah. This morning I was going in I don't know how many directions. My son gave me a legacy box for Mother's Day, and I started taking out all the photos. Now I'm an old person, so I have a lot of those hard copy photos.
Amazing.
Books and reams of them. And, I've got them now stacked up in some kind of chronological order. And really deep questions come up about that too, by the way. Really deep questions. Like, I have a brother who died when he was 19. And when I'm gone, he'll be gone too, because I'm carrying him.
Yes.
So there's that, plus I want to get, Art and I are going to age in place. So I want to get our bathrooms more senior friendly. So I've got that on my mind. And I've also got my yard, because I always, that's a love. So, I start off in one direction and then I'm so it's like, really, your talk was just right on target. Thank you.
And thank you for reminding me of that piece, is that we have so many things that we're focused on getting done in this life, and it's all important. And new stuff comes in, like, oh, the photos, and oh, my brother. By the way, I lost a sister when she was 20. And so I know what you mean. I feel like I keep her alive. And she had a 2-year-old at the time when she passed. So luckily, her daughter is a very, very, very huge part of my life, as well as her children. So it's a wonderful sort of ontological, thing that's so beautiful. But I know what you mean. You really want to keep those people alive, and so like then there's that big question: how do you do that if you're not gonna be here forever?
It's absolutely true. Yes.
Right about him,
Yeah.
please. I find that's the more I realize, my days are numbered, the more I want to really write these stories down, and because they were fleeting moments, but boy, they really are the nutrition for the rest of your life. So if you can look back at them, you can actually see your life now coming at you.
Yeah, I don't think I know what I think until I write.
Oh yeah, right.
I have to see it. I have to see it after I've written it to know what I'm thinking.
Totally. I paint that way often.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you. Love hearing from you. Paul, how are you today? Good. I still can't tell us if SRF is open because the days are longer now, so I'm not getting up there when they're still open, when they might be open.
Well, I'm calling them right after this because talk about making sure that we set aside time for grounding and for space. And your talk, Lori, reminded me of resonated with me of a podcast I listened to yesterday from the Happiness Lab, and the professor is now looking at traditions and faith and how that links to happiness. And she's talking about the importance of keeping Sabbath and why that is so important and why it's literally a 10 commandment. And so as you were talking, I was thinking, well, in a way, sitting Zazen is keeping Sabbath. It is a place where you have carved out time, where you are sitting in tradition, where you're sitting in quietness, and it's a place of reflection. And you're letting time become very languid.
Yes.
So that was that's sort of where I was in my headspace. So again, thank you for leading us in our vision.
Thank you for making that connection, because really creating and maintaining a sacred space where we can go, and that's why it was so important to us to have a space where the altar always is, because it's just symbolic that it's symbolic for you, it's symbolic for us, and this is, as you said, that feeling of being languid with time. We have to step out of time, just as Mel was saying. Just look at your phone and how many pictures you have on your phone. It is astounding how much we're in front of all the time. And we rarely step back. And or at least in my case, I don't step back enough and just have that languid experience, that sort of allowing the liminal to come into your being so that you can taste forever. The older we get, the more we need to taste forever. See what that feels like. You can smell it. Forever smells it's like flowers. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you for bringing that into this conversation. Appreciate that. Karen, it's nice to see you here. I didn't see your face last week. Thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you. I'm really happy to be here. I'm very, very new on the path, and I'm here to learn.
And Karen, you're a friend of Jennifer Hunter.
Yes, I am. She's my neighbor upstairs.
In Ecuador. I have to make that connection for everybody, because Jennifer she's a true north for us. I'm sure she's a true north for you too.
Yes, we had a lovely dinner last night together. I'm a Canadian here living in Ecuador.
Fantastic. How are you liking it?
Oh, I love it. As soon as we're now not locked down anymore, thank goodness, I can get out and see things. This is a beautiful country.
Oh, I hope to see it someday. I love the tropical countries. I love Central and South America.
Come and visit.
Thanks.
So I'm very, very new on the path.
Good. Well, ask questions. We're here to answer and to share and to be your net. And the net that Melanie was talking about is Indra's net. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's a reference point for us. I think Dan has done a couple of talks that refer to it, and there are koans, which are the part of our way of studying and putting ourselves in front of the experience of our lives in a unique and beautiful way. The the net is we all create it just by being here, and the way to keep it going to foster that communal feeling is to ask, and like me asking for help, help.
I'm thankful to be here. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time too. And Sandra, you're back too. Thank you for coming today. And Amber, it's so nice to have the girls here again.
Sandra, you're muted.
You're
We can
muted.
see you're talking, but we can't hear you. Oh no, I think.
Oops.
You hit the wrong button.
She just turned off the video.
There we go.
Wait, we still can't hear you.
There we go.
There we
Did
go.
that do it?
Perfect. We're very patient.
Little
Take your
What?
time.
tablet, and my finger doesn't know where to go. So I woke up this morning and I have some plans for like 3 o'clock this afternoon. And I've been locked in for a year. It's like, that's so big of it. So I started taking inventory of what's happening in my body, and not so good. All this, everything just began to be in conflict and move in and out of focus and everything. And I thought, I don't think I'll make it to Zazen. And I thought, this is the best time to go, Sandra. The best time.
Perfect.
Get in there and do it.
That's wonderful.
That's what we're talking about today. So I'm glad to hear everything that you said was relevant. Wonderful. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you. I could see you engaging with my words, and especially around how life has changed so much. How living in the world in the West has just become so ridiculously expensive, and it's kind of depressing to me. I mean, I'm very entrepreneurial, and I'm, very ambitious around, making stuff happen. And it really affects me that I don't have that around real estate anymore.
I've made some things happen, and you couldn't do it today. Just couldn't do it today. I would buy houses just on my name, and I didn't have a job.
Amazing.
But my real estate agent knew me, and he would say, okay. And then I would fix up the house and sell it, make a little profit, and start all over again. And I did that for quite a few years. Now I dug ditches and repaired roofs and poured concrete and did all of that myself.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
But then after a while, I think we had one big real estate bust, which was national. And I couldn't get rid of 2 properties at once,
Yeah.
It just fell in.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one. That was not fun. I didn't own anything at that time, and I was grateful, But yeah, I mean, I remember living in the small town I grew up in Washington State, and there was this really cool house for sale. It was like, God, it was like, you're gonna die when I tell you this. You're gonna think I'm older than I look. It was like $48,000, which is like nothing.
It's crazy.
That's chump change, I mean,
I bought a house in Austin for $15,000 one time.
What's that?
I bought one in Austin for $15,000.
Oh my God.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And it's probably 200, 300,000 now.
Or more, probably shooting
Yeah.
up there.
And still as tacky and awful as it was.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter in LA. I mean, everything starts at $789,000, right? Yeah, I don't care what it looks like. I mean, just
Yeah,
a shack.
everything. Yeah.
Definitely.
It's insane.
And when I see something, I can see everything that needs to get fixed. So it's really sad to me that people are living in these environments that I could fix.
I know, right?
It just it's sad.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel that with you.
Well, I'm happy to have you back. Thank you for coming and sitting today. Really good to see you.
Thank you.
Brenda Lee, how are you today?
I am good, thank you. I'm grateful to be here this morning. We were supposed to go on a big hike this morning, but we're going to do it tomorrow instead. So I woke up and I was like, oh, Zazen, I get to do that. So
Oh, that's great.
it's something I really look forward to. It's a very grounding time for me. Last night I went to a party. It was like the post-COVID. Everyone's been double vaccinated. And so there were about 9 couples and friends I've known for many years. And the house of the friend, it was one of the most beautiful homes I've ever been in. And it was a lovely evening. But it's interesting because I woke up this morning comparing, or he came home and it was like, oh my God, our house is like so not what that house is. But yet I love my house and I wouldn't want to switch lives. So it's not like, oh, but it's that kind of grasping for what I don't have in that comparison. And it's so silly and I know it. So I think, this practice is so important to bring me back to who I am and where I'm happy. And it's not about what someone else has, because once I go into that space, I can't help but feel like somehow I'm not doing something right, or I'm somehow deprived, or not victim wise, but, and it's a make believe. It's like I'm creating suffering that is my choice. Like I have the ability to stop that and say, no, I've chosen what I have in my life and where I live, and I love it. So why look to something else? So it was just nice to reconnect with all of you and kind of feel this grounding space of getting back to who I am, and not this grasping for something that's somehow better.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's a great subject to bring up to me, because I feel the same way. I mean, we live in a rental that you drive right by, it's like nowhere, but inside it works for us. And we have this huge garden that was ugly as an old stick, and we were turning it into something, and I feel like, oh my God, I used to have all these beautiful homes and whatever, but I can't afford that anymore. And I really like where I am. This house is very friendly to me. It has a wonderful spirit to it, and the neighborhood is killer. Yeah, I mean, awesome. People actually talk to each other, and everybody's walking their dogs, and we're right next to this nature preserve. I mean, why do I even think about anything else? But we have to remember too, Brenda, that and I know you're really cognizant of this. The whole commerce machine is just that. Everything is pointed to that. All of the information out there is pointed to, you have to spend money to have a better life. You have to make more money to have a better everything. And we have to remember that that's created by companies who are selling things, and it's created by a system that's it's all one piece. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just really being and so important is like, where have I arrived? It's not about what comes next. It's like, no, where am I? And oh my God, I have so much to be grateful for. And it's remembering that and being in that place. Um, and also the other thing that was interesting, and I don't know if this is happening for other people, wherever everyone is in the world, I'd say half of the people there are all buying property somewhere else and now moving. And, or like half the time in Boulder, and half the time, the couple who hosted the party, they're going to buy a place in Maui because they're saying it's cheaper than Boulder. And another friend just bought a house in Maine, and another friend in Arizona. And it's this weird timing of like, okay, there's a major shift happening on many levels of coming out of COVID and people, looking at what's important. And it's kind of like a grieving, like, okay, this group that had been so close for so long, we all kind of went into hiding during COVID. And now when we're coming out, there's this major shift and kind of splitting up. And it's, I don't know, I'm just have to get settled with that.
yeah, I know what you mean. I've moved a lot, from here from LA to New York, Brooklyn Heights, and then from Brooklyn Heights back to LA, and then to New Mexico, a small town where everybody was close, and then back here. And you're always like seeing these incredible shifts where you have created a net of people. And I'm just really grateful for now, for what we have and what we are being. And yeah, I can't say thank you enough. I really can't. But I think it's important because there's this fever out. It's important to talk about this because there is a fever out there called, fear of missing out. And people are buying up real estate in places that nobody ever thought of going to before, or that people were kind of preserving as a special spot, and they're moving their economy around with them. So it's pretty hard to go back. Really hard to go back once people have invested on that high level. So it's too bad. It's just really kind of too bad.
Yes and no. I think there's just a matter of really like letting go of what was and being appreciative for what was, and not grasping for something different. And it's how to live in that space when people around you, there's this movement that's happening.
Yeah.
And how to be in that movement, kind of like standing in the river and letting the water go by and notice it, recognize it, and appreciate, and not go to the what used to be or what could be necessarily, but just, I don't know, that's what it feels like for me.
That's clarity on this subject. That's beautiful. It's perfect.
Well, thank you for your talk this morning and for being here.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you during the week when you can make it, and very grateful for everything.